Hello everybody, are you slightly wonky? I think you might. Oh. There we go. Hello everybody, I am blonde and it feels so strange. Did it yesterday, first video was blonde, exciting. I finished the Miranda Hart book, everybody. By the way, if you haven't been here before, I'm Debbie, I read a lot of books. I should have gotten that out of the way first. Yes, Miranda Hart, I haven't been entirely honest with you. I love this book so much. I was reading this and The Comfort Book by Matt Haig at the same time for quite a bit, and I felt like it was just the right time to be reading these. I'd gone into a bit of a weird place mentally, and so these were just what I needed to get out of that slump. Is there like a little information blurb from this? Yes, there is. So, I am not Miranda Hart, so I do not sound like Miranda Hart, but I will try to read this to you as best a Miranda Hart as I can. So, hello to you, my dear reader chum. Lovely to be in your hands. You may not expect this, but I have spent large parts of the last decade really rather ill and feeling very alone. But surprisingly, in the darkness, I found some important answers. I discovered a joy, peace and freedom I never thought possible. I believe these treasures are possible for everyone. My loveliest reader chum, you are a unique masterpiece and deserve all such things. And I hope my story helps your story. But back to me, which the book is basically all about. We'll have such fun along the way. Oh, and there's a love story too. Do come with. I wanted to reach through the pages of this book and give Miranda Hart the biggest teddy bear hug that you can give. And to be honest, I think she'd reciprocate it anyway, even though she... Well, to be fair, everybody needs a hug, but reading her love story with her now husband just makes you see that she has come out the other side of things. She found out she had Lyme disease very late, because she was bitten by a tick when she was a teenager, I think it was. Her father worked in America quite a lot, and so she spent large parts of her teenage years travelling, and yeah, the fact that it almost sounds ridiculous that a tick bite can cause just so many problems. I don't know much about Lyme disease, and it's gut-wrenching to know that it really can happen to anybody, and that Miranda Hart was suffering for so long as somebody who fell in love with Miranda Hart on Not Going Out, like as Barbara the cleaner, and then she went on to do Miranda Hart's Joke Shop for radio, and then that became Miranda, the TV series, which I absolutely adore, and to be honest, I need to watch it again. I mean, I pretty much just watched it again recently, and I need to do it again. I need to do it again. I love it so much, and the things that she has done, like being chummy on Call the Midwife, and I remember reading the book of Call the Midwife thinking, oh my god, she's perfect for this role, and she even mentioned somebody sending the book to her and saying, you are chummy, so when she did get the part, it was... obviously like a dream come true for her. But in between her telling her story about being diagnosed and the things that she did to get through and how she met her now husband, you do also get little facts about her career. I have got her other books, because I've got the Peggy and Me, and what was the other book called? Because there's the one about her and her relationship with her dog Peggy, who has now died. She's now got another one called Patience, called Patty, which is so cute. Yeah, I was already in love with Miranda Hart, then I read her other books and fell in love with her even more, and then this has just solidified my love for Miranda Hart. I mean, to be fair, it's already pretty much solidified because I just adored her for so long, and she's one of those people that you just wish the best for. And I mean, like, even if people didn't know her from Miranda, people know her from Call the Midwife, or they know her from when she was Nancy in Spy with Miss McCarthy, and then she was also Miss Bates in Emma as well, so I feel like a lot of people know who she is now. Even in America, she has been exposed to American audiences. I'm pretty sure that Call the Midwife has a massive following in America. Is it on like PBS or something, or BBC America or something? I don't know. Is It Just Me was her first book, which was absolutely great. And then, as I said, there's Peggy and Me, and she's also written a children's book called The Girl with the Lost Smile. I do also have that book, and it was such a lovely book. Yeah, the front cover, the dust jacket, looks like this. And then you've got that on the back as well. And then the actual book, you've got black, and it's blue foil, which is just beautiful. it's just such a great book, and I love how it's split up, because like at the beginning of each section, let's see if I can find one, she separates the book into treasures. So it's like there's treasure 4, where she puts in treasures picked up, pattern smashed, watchword, soundtrack. And so if you look at the other ones, treasure 2 is surrender, so that has treasures picked up, pattern smashed, watchword, and the soundtrack. So she does that for each treasures, and then she tells stories within those treasures and life advice and like what happened to her when she hit rock bottom. And I don't want to spoil it essentially for people who haven't read it. I mean, we all know from her book Press Tour that the big thing that people took away from this book was that she did meet her now husband in lockdown, and he referred to as the boy from Bristol, the boy, and then at the end she confirms who it actually was, who she married, which a lot of people know now. I'm pretty sure she talked about him as being like the mould man, the man that came to fix the mould in her house. He was the project manager, I think, when they found out that she had mould in her house, and that was also adding to her not feeling very well. But yeah, there's moments when I wanted to cry for her and just reach out for her when she's talking about the times when she did actually physically collapse and she was there on her bathroom floor thinking that she was so alone and that she was so ill and that it wasn't all in her head despite what certain doctors had told her. And I mean, healthcare, women's healthcare in general can be a bit shit anyway, but when you know that there's something wrong and doctors are just saying, oh, it's in your head, it's not real, and or misdiagnosing you. I mean, that's happened to me before. I went years of misdiagnosis before they found my gallstones and I had my gallbladder out. It is not comparable to what Miranda Hart went through, because it is something completely different. When I finally did get scanned and found out that I had gallstones, and then a couple of weeks later I had my gallbladder removed, me and my mum actually looked at each other and said, do we think that this goes back to symptoms I had like when I was at uni and in college, pains that I'd had for so long? Because if you've ever had a gallbladder attack, it is miserable, it is so painful. And the thing is, there's a lot of things on the right hand side that it could be. I think I was misdiagnosed with appendicitis 3 times before I was actually finally given a scan, and the woman who's doing the scan, they're not really supposed to tell you what they can see, but she was just like, just so you know, I did see gallstones on the scan, so this explains why you're in so much pain. Because I was doing a show in York at the time called Blood and Chocolate. It started at the Theatre Royal, and then it was a walk through all the way through York to the museum and the Castle Keep. And I remember driving home from one of these performances thinking, I am in so much pain right now. And I had a GP appointment the next morning. It's like, I'm going to mention it at my GP appointment, just how much pain I am in. And I remember she pressed into me and was just like, oh, well, this could be your appendix, but also seems slightly higher, so I'll get you up to the hospital. And they went up and scanned me, and obviously, as I said, the woman who scanned me was just like, I see gallstones on your scan. And then I spoke to the surgeon, the doctor, and I ended up on the cancellation wait list. So it's like, basically, if anybody cancels, I'm like one of the first people they come to and say, you're available to fill this slot where somebody's cancelled. And I think it was from telling them I was available to go onto the cancellation wait list to then finding out I was going to have the surgery was like a day, which was quite incredible, really. But yeah, I think I went from being scanned to having my gallbladder out in like a fortnight later. But just like when you are reading about somebody who is misdiagnosed so much, with a condition that is misdiagnosed so much, because Lyme disease is incredibly difficult to diagnose. With me, all they had to do was a scan, but it took them so long to finally do that. And I think with Lyme disease, I think nowadays you can, I think some blood tests can show it up, I'm not completely sure. I'm sure if they actually gave her a blood test early on, they might have been able to figure it out, which is horrible to think about, like the things that they could have done to figure it out so much earlier. And she was in her like late 40s. I mean, she was 51 when she got married. So yeah, she must have been in her late 40s when she finally figured out what was going on with her. Something that had just taken over her body since she was a teenager. I can't imagine being in that much pain for so long. And my heart goes out to anybody who has a chronic illness like that, because I'm very fortunate that nothing like that has ever happened to me. I mean, I've mentioned that I did have issues with my gallstones, and we managed to go pull back to me being in pain at university and thinking that I had appendicitis, but they opened me up. I literally had surgery. They looked at my appendix and went, it's not your appendix, and sewed me back up again. Didn't do anything else to explore what was going on. And then when I went back to my GP when I was at uni, they were just like, oh, they found fluid in your abdomen. Sounds like you had a cyst that burst. Get on with it. That was pretty much the advice I got. Like, women's healthcare is shocking. It really is. But this is not, well, I guess it is kind of a video. It's a story about somebody's health who was misdiagnosed for so long, who found out after like 30 plus years of symptoms, finally found out what was wrong. And the fact is, a lot of this was going on right in front of us and we didn't even realise, when she was working on TV and we were all falling in love with her. And it's so interesting when you're just like, oh, they're human too. Like, as far as we're concerned, they're famous, they're on the telly, and you forget that these people are human as too, and they are going through things. Like, you think, oh, well, they don't have money problems. Yeah, but when it comes to problems, money's just one of them. Anybody can be going through a range of things in regards to grief, health, mental health, anything. And sometimes you can be so wrapped up in your own head that you don't realise that other people are going through stuff as well. And yeah, it really just, I feel like this book just opened my eyes so much to what obviously Miranda was going through. And when she talks about her relationship with the boy from Bristol, and I just felt my heart just, I love those moments of her falling in love with the boy from Bristol. The old man. Because when at the end she actually confirms who the boy from Bristol actually is, because it feels like the title of the book, I haven't been entirely honest with you. Obviously that's chronicling like everything that she was going through behind the scenes that we had no idea about, but then it also has a slight, it also made me think of how she introduces the boy from Bristol and how we don't really find out until the end, or the confirmation of like who that actually was. But on the press tour she was admitting that she was married and they were talking about it being the mould man. So I feel like that was spoiled for a lot of people very, very early on. So apologies if you hadn't read this book and you did not know about the boy from Bristol being the mould man. I love Miranda Hart. I always have, I always will. Obviously it's her choice if she ever decides she wants to act or do comedy again. I hope she does. I saw her live. I saw her live in Leeds, at Leeds Arena, when she did her solo tour, and she was incredible. And I remember after the show, you could tell who had just seen Miranda because we were galloping through the streets of Leeds back to the car. A whole group of us were galloping, and it was beautiful. Miranda Hart, you did that. Not that she's ever going to watch this video, but Miranda Hart made half the audience gallop back to their cars after her show. It was just great. It was such a good night. If she ever does live tour again, I'd love to see her live again because she was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, from her sharing her stories with her health, to the fact that she was also going through grief as well because she lost Peggy, but then she also got Patty, Patience, and her realising just how strong she is. It was just such a great book to read and to learn more about a person who I admire so much and her career. And yeah, Miranda Hart, I haven't been entirely honest with you. The blue foil is beautiful, and there is your front cover. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time with another video. I am now sleeping in this room. The flat is getting on, and I'm not far off being in, which is so nerve-wracking and terrifying. But yeah, anyway, I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe. I love you all. Bye.